Hi, everybody. This is Gerald Willies, and today I'm going to talk about this book here. It is called Drug-Induced Nutrient Depletion. Now, the last time it was printed was in 2001, so you're actually not going to be able to find this in print unless you find a used copy for a really exorbitant price. And the point of today's topic is to understand that when certain individuals are actually taking certain pharmaceuticals, it is known. I mean, this is just a list of pages after pages, and it's small font of showing which medications an individual may be taking, and then what are the known nutrients that these specific medications that a person's taking are depleting the body of. Okay, so we know that poor nutrition, malnutrition can lead to certain health problems. We know if someone is iron deficient, then they're going to develop iron deficient anemia. If someone doesn't have enough zinc, they may have some white spots on their nails, and zinc is very much needed to make sure someone has a strong, healthy immune system, as well as excellent liver enzyme function. So we know that minerals are important. We know that iodine is needed for the thyroid to make thyroid hormone. So if someone's on an iodine deficient diet, there might be challenges in making sufficient thyroid hormones, right? So we know that there's a clear link between poor nutrition and less than optimal health. But what if then someone is taking a specific pharmaceutical and that exacerbates that scenario? What happens? Is it possible that becoming even more malnourished based on certain pharmaceutical usage, then a person's health problems possibly worsen? So I just want to point out that over here, I'm going to show you my screen. It is known, and many medical doctors and colleagues of mine actually know, that when a individual is prescribed a particular statin medication, so a drug that's intended to lower cholesterol production, it's not only lowering the cholesterol production within the liver. So keep in mind, the liver is making cholesterol for a particular reason. But furthermore, if it's being inhibited by this medication, then we also start to see that statins are going to deplete the body or decrease its ability to produce CoQ-enzyme 10. Now, CoQ-enzyme 10 is very important for just simple metabolic function within the muscles. And that's one of the reasons why you'll start to see a lot of medical doctors who have finally caught on to this research are going to actually now prescribe some sort of CoQ-enzyme 10 supplement for any patient that they have prescribed a statin medication. And so it's becoming more and more aware. Now, not a lot of medical doctors are aware of this phenomenon taking place. And you'll also start to see some doctors slowly start to recommend a multi or some various vitamins when they're prescribing specific drugs. And you're also going to start to see certain pharmaceutical companies developing drugs in which they're packaging certain synthetic vitamins together that are known to be depleted based on whatever previous studies of a drug has been done. Okay, so you'll start seeing more combinations of these medications with synthetic vitamins added into, but that's not the whole point, right? The whole point is, well, first off, if we know that all these years and decades, individuals have been taking these pharmaceuticals and they're undernourished, why don't we handle the undernourishment to begin with? And just so you know that this book is not available for sale. However, you can go to this specific website, Maydavincom, and you can literally put in any medication in here, and it will show you the deficiencies that has been known. So you can hit here, find deficiencies, and it will start to pull up information. So folic acid, vitamin B12, and here are some common medications that many people are taking out there. I used to sell some of these as a former pharmaceutical sales rep. I was repping this one here. I was repping one of this, a very similar version of this. I represented this one. So these are the PPIs, the proton pump inhibitors, often given to individuals who have digestive challenges. Citalopram. That's citalopram. That's the same drug, just one is, if you want to get to chemistry, this is the single S isomer, and this has got both the S and the R isomer. So you have a lot of these common popularly prescribed medications on this list for quick reference. And keep in mind, this website is actually based off the data that's in here, and the data that's in here is actually based off the data that you can find in PubMed.gov. So when you're looking up in PubMed.gov, you can actually find all the information on this website. And so it's thoroughly referenced. It's been proven. This is science, that this is what happens. And I want to point out that I do give a seminar to natural healthcare practitioners nationwide. And I always like to walk them through this slide, because this is how I see society declining in health, unfortunately, where perhaps maybe pharmaceuticals aren't always the solution, and there should be other things taken into consideration. And we know and we understand the work of Dr. Wesley Price. So he documented his studies of his many ethnographies among those 14 healthy societies, and he actually he documented what they ate, how they lived, and what they didn't get exposed to. Obviously, they didn't get exposed to chemicals and heavy metals that are currently in our environment, thus reaching and getting into our bodies and creating havoc. But so you notice that these societies, they were geographically secluded, and they were eating obviously unrefined foods and foods that were very much close to nature. And he noticed that when they strayed away from that, then they started to they started to develop health challenges, right? Led to degeneration. So we know that poor nutrition is key to it's one of the causative factors to the development of health challenges. Then we know that pharmaceuticals deplete the body of known nutrients. Okay, now this book here and the Maydavincom website only document what is known to humans. Now you got to imagine there are certain nutrients out there in our foods, in nature, that we have not yet discovered. We just don't know everything about every single food. We just don't know every single phytonutrient, every enzyme. We know mostly minerals and amino acids and certain fatty acids, but there are so many phytonutrients in certain foods and so many nutrients that we haven't yet discovered. And keep that in mind that this book here is very limited to only what is known and what can be detected within the bloodstream. So very limited knowledge. However, we can confirm that when an individual takes a pharmaceutical, there's bound to be some sort of nutrient depletion activity going on. And then perhaps that gives rise to the possibility that this is the mechanism in which a drug-induced disease develops. Okay, so drug-induced diseases, what does that mean? That is also referred to as iatrogenesis. Iatrogenesis is commonly or generally referred to as doctor-created disease, doctor-induced disease. In this situation, it might be drug-induced disease because, unfortunately, there are certain health problems that can develop as a side effect or an adverse event, right? As a pharmaceutical sales rep, we would always spin it as an adverse event. No one wants that. It's adverse, right? An adverse event. You got a disease. Hey, sorry, right? Go ahead and stop the drug and hopefully it goes away, where we know in some situations it goes away, in some situations it may linger on. And you can even go on this version here. This book here is the 2005. I have multiple copies in our office in our clinic, and this one here was published, I believe it was 2019. Purchased this in 2022, but I believe this was 2019. And this one here is almost 1,200 pages. So the original one, 2005, was so the first edition, you can see, it was published in 2005. I have that one. That was 800 pages. And then this one here is about close to 1,200, almost 1,300 pages. So the number of pages is growing. And what does that mean? There's more and more information about this phenomena taking place that is getting reported. Okay, so at the end of the day, if someone is taking pharmaceutical, okay, great. They're probably having a disease being managed by their medical doctor. And first and foremost, if you're taking any medications, always work with a prescribing physician for any dosage adjustment. This is not any medical advice. I just want you to just be aware of this information. But more importantly, be sure you are properly nourishing your body to account for the drug-induced nutrient depletion that's taking place by your pharmaceuticals, and also to address the known nutrients, right? The nutrients that are known to be depleted, but make sure you're also addressing the unknown nutrients. And the best way to do that is to eat unprocessed, unrefined whole foods. And if you need help finding out which exact whole foods you should be consuming to start filling in the gaps, because most people have nutritional gaps if they've been consuming refined flour, refined sugars, refined foods in general in their life, there are certain nutrients that have been consistently been removed from your diet and is not making it to your body. So your body's working out, maybe you're trying to put a Lego thing together and you're missing a key piece, right? And you can't really complete the Lego. For some reason, I thought about Legos. My son actually had a lot of these Ninjago Legos, and on occasion he would lose a piece and it would drive us nuts, especially if it was like in the middle, like you build these robots and it was the middle vertebrae, right in the back, he had a gap in, right? I remember, this little structure, this like Voltron-like Lego piece couldn't stand upright, right? He was missing that little piece. So it's very important to incorporate whole food nutrition into your diet to fill in the gaps. And if you're taking some pharmaceuticals, just you can do your research. Now, of course, I'm on a mission as a former pharmaceutical sales rep turned functional nutrition consultant. I'm on a mission to help as many people be healthy and happy naturally, right? So that's why we call our health center the Natural Health Improvement Center, because we want to make sure that we actually can feed your body the genuine replacement building blocks that comes from foods so that you can rebuild a healthy body. And bottom line is chemicals don't even come close to building a healthy body. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put your questions in the comments. I'll try to get to them. And you've got the resources. You know where the books are on Amazon. You know what books to look at. You've got the Maydavincom website. You can use that however it can help you out, and to bring more awareness that at the end of the day, we've got to always find what is that nutrient we're missing? What is that food we're missing or not incorporating? And if you're trying to find a nutrient, well, you know, you're going to know the ones that have been discovered by humans, but there's so many nutrients that we haven't yet discovered. So anyways, cheers to your health, and I will talk to you soon.